Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space, and just coming on today with an art journal page. I was watching a fellow Aussie YouTuber, Inkie Quill. Let's get Inkie. Let's get Inkie. She's got a couple of channels, basically doing some mixed media canvases, and I thought, oh, that looks like fun. I will do something like that. Now mine turned out so different, but the concepts were sort of the same. So the first thing that I do is I'm working in my altered art journal. This is my altered wine book. I'm still trying to finish up. It's got several pages left to go in it. It will probably take me to the end of the year to do it. So hence that's where the text comes from. And I've got several videos on my channel about using altered books and how to get the best out of them and how to prep them and all that sort of stuff, if you're interested. So just using a lot of my scraps from my scrap box. The spotted paper in the bottom right hand corner is actually a cupcake liner, or a cupcake liner, what else do you call them, patty pan liners that you usually bake with cupcakes. So I like using those as well. That strip I'm putting on down there is actually a paper chain, and I believe the next one's a paper chain as well. That one is a paper chain from Typo, a stationery slash home decor, I suppose, store you'd call in Australia. I got those really cheap. The pink triangle one's a jelly print, some other, I think the blue and the green one's a jelly print, others are pattern papers. So basically just wanting to put some texture and some pattern in the background. So just using up all scraps. I'm gluing it down with some, I'm just trying to think of the brand, I think it's Matisse. It's really, really old matte gel medium and it's getting quite thick. So I'm trying to use it up. Trying to use up a lot of older products this year. So I decided to add another cupcake liner. The cupcake liners look really cool, and the ripples in them that make them like the cup shape, you can actually stick them down so they stick really flat and they look really good. And they're circles. Like, who doesn't like circles on their page? So that's a good hint. Just don't use the cupcake liners for cupcakes and go to use them, because the cake on your art journal page is probably not a good look. So pinch them from the kitchen before you put your cake in them. Alexis and I end up with a lot of them because she likes to bake from packet cakes because she finds it easy and she can do it all by herself basically. She's 9.5 now and can make a packet cake from a packet cake, and reads the instructions, does it all. The only thing I have to do is put it in the oven. Oh, and wash the dishes. Haven't quite taught her how to wash the dishes yet, but. So in those cakes, we always have 1 or 2 left over. They either give us extra or we make bigger cakes than everyone else. So we just chuck them in our art stash. So just adding a bit of napkin, the chevron stripy napkin as well. Going underneath and over the top of the papers because I'm really wanting to seal them down, because I'm aiming to put a lot of mixed media on top of this. So I wanted the papers sealed down with a coat of the matte gel medium over the top as well. So when I started this art journal page, I was sitting in front of the telly and just wanted to play but didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I started just gluing and pasting and slapping it down. Had no rhyme or reason, didn't even think, just pulled a bit out of the box, ripped it smaller if I needed it to be smaller. As you can see, some of the edges are ripped, some of them are cut, some of them are straight. It doesn't matter, just whack it on. Good way to use up all your scraps. Putting this in the background. Now you can see a bit of this in the background in the end result, but a lot of it does get covered up. But that's part of mixed media. A lot of things do get covered up. So just finishing that off. Hoping to finish up that Matisse mixed media, not mixed media, matte gel medium. It's actually a gloss. Sorry, it's a gloss gel medium. Soon, because I don't really like it. I bought it many years ago, and it's not what I prefer. I prefer a matte effect. Just showing you there's some white gesso by Liquitex. Just wanting to give the colours a bit of a tone down. They're a bit bright, so I didn't want them to detract from the actual thing I'm going to put next on the page. The thing I'll make you wait in suspense. The thing I'm going to put on the page. So I decided it was then too white. So I decided to attack it with a baby wipe and wipe up some of the paint. Isn't that the whole thing of mixed media? You add something, you cover it up, you take it away, you add something. Silly. So just sort of toning down the colours, and I like that look a lot better. So what do I do next? I can't remember, I did this quite a while ago. So giving the gesso a good dry, because you do need to dry it between layers. So just showing you there, the little image is actually around Christmas time, McDonald's come out with their large cups with this image on it. And I kept a few of the cups. My daughter's quite partial, and it's probably not good for her, but she's quite partial to frozen Coke when she has a sore throat. So we ended up collecting a few of these cups. So I enlarged it on my photocopier because I just wanted the face. I wasn't really in the mood to draw a face tonight and still practicing hand drawing faces. So I decided this would be a good way to get a face on my page without having to draw it. I could cheat. Cheating's good, right? So I did the old school method. I just scribbled on the back with pencil and then drew over the top of it with pencil, and the graphite on the back of your page actually gets transferred to the page. So you can see it is very light on the gesso, but is there enough for me to actually see it, which is really good. So just tracing over, not worrying about any of the hair or anything. I just wanted the facial features. So there I zoom you in. So I don't know whether you'll be able to pick up. Oh, you can. You can see the grey lead. So just tracing over it with a Sharpie marker, or is that a brush tip pick pen? Some sort of black texture. When I'm editing videos, if you haven't edited videos before, you have about a quarter of your computer screen to actually view the video while you're editing it, doing the voiceover. And my eyesight's really funny, so I can't see what I'm doing half the time, or see the name on a product or something. But wanted to do it with, and I have done it with a waterproof black marker. So just adding in the details, referring a bit to the picture as well. I've just got the picture off to the side. So if I can't see the detail, I just add it. So just got a thicker black texture. Just I can't talk tonight. I was wanting the image to be very flowy and very sketchy, and I love how it turned out. So don't be afraid to cheat, as I say, and use images that you collect or magazines to trace faces if you're not comfortable in, or stencils or stamps or anything to get a face onto your page. It does look like I've drawn it on, and if I showed you the page, you'd have no idea I used a McDonald's cup, would you? No, but you do now because I told you. So just drying that off because I wanted to set the ink, and then I go and have some fun. So I decided to pull out I was wanting to draw in hair, but I didn't really know what to do, so I gave up on that, and I decided let's add some colour. So I grabbed out my PVO watercolours, and I wanted just to give it a bit of a look. So just giving her a bit of blush. She's got her makeup on today, so she needs a bit of blush, she needs a bit of lippy, she needs some other makeup on, eyeshadow probably, oh, a bit of eyeshadow. It's not showing up as good as I'd like. It's sort of getting a bit washed out, but I sort of wanted it to be quite subtle. So this is a journal page I started, and I really didn't know where it was going. I knew I wanted to do it in the style of what I'd seen on Let's Get Inkie, and if I can find her Canvas video, I'll link it below so you can see where I was sort of trying to go, but didn't really get there. But I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Try to add some colour in the hair, and I'm not real happy. I thought I might turn those into flowers, because that's what sort of the canvas was. It was a whole bunch of flowers in the hair and flowing hair, and yeah, just didn't get it. So not happy with the watercolours. They're not going on as dark as I'd like, and just not looking good. So I give up in a minute. I persist for a minute and then decide I'll give up. These are a really good set of watercolours. They're probably the first watercolour set I've had that's a bit more basic than a $2 or a $5 set from a cheap shop. They go on really nicely, and I really enjoy using them. So I persist a bit more, adding a bit more colour around, and just decide that's not really the look I'm going for, because when I do dry it, it goes really light. Now I probably should have knocked back the colour in the background a little bit more, had a bit more white, but I liked how it was as well. So Yes, I think that was the problem. I probably should have thinned down some paint, I think. Okay, so I decided texture paste because Inkie Quill, Let's Get Inkie, and Dell from the Aussie channel decided to use that. So I picked two stencils. So this is a flower stencil and a leaf stencil, and I started off just applying some cheap texture paste I picked up at a cheap shop with a metal spatula, or metal palette knife, I'm sorry. It's actually a Faber-Castell palette knife that come in with the gelato set. So I decided I might just do it a bit here and there, and then I keep going. So I did a bit of the flowers here and there, then I'll do a bit up here, and you'll see what happens in a minute. Then you'll see down here. So these two type of stencils that I'm using are great because they actually put a lot of texture paste down and just leave the outline as the flat surface, as opposed to doing an outline. So with the leaves, it actually raises like the little, like the, I don't know, the edge of the leaf, but the veins on the leaf and the outside defining bit of the leaf are actually the pieces that are left on the page. So it looks really nicely. It's a bit hard to see with the white on white with the texture paste, but as you can see, she's getting engulfed by leaves and flowers when I was only going to put a little bit on. But hey, this texture paste is again not my favourite, and I want to use it up, so I just kept using it and using it and using it and using it. Oh, I don't know. Some days I'm just a little out of control. These pages take on a mind of their own. So then I decided, well, how are we going to colour this? I'm going to get some sprays out. So I've got a few different sprays. Here I'm mixing up some of my own sprays with some re-inkers. Again, so really, this is a context of the video. Really old re-inkers for some dye ink pads. So I probably didn't put enough concentrated ink into water because they're quite light, but they still work. So it's a purple, and then there's one this is, I think, it's a Lindy stamp going green with a bit of shimmer in it. It's about the only one I own of those. And then another one is an alcoholic ink. That yellow, I believe, is a alcoholic ink that I mixed up from a Sharpie marker. You can take them apart and suspend them in rubbing alcohol. The orange, I think, is the same. Could have been a red marker. What do we got there? That one, I think, is the same, alcoholic. So it's a bunch of different sprays, homemade sprays, and one commercial spray. So I was just using my wipe up journal there as a barrier at the back, so I did not spray everything on my table. I still got quite a few things sprayed that I shouldn't have. So just drying that off, and I love how the sprays sink down and sort of pull between the texture paste. They also grab onto the texture paste. Now eventually when it does dry, it dries lighter than this. So I wish it would have dried with this intensity, but unfortunately, oh, beeping, there's my washing machine saying, get your clothes out. So when the lots of the sprays pool, it looks really nice in the leaves and gives it lots and lots of definition, but it does dry a bit lighter. But I'm actually thinking of turning this into a canvas now. I really love the effect. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.